You and I know that goals are important. We need to have something to shoot for, a direction that we're aiming. And if we're honest, I think a lot of us actually have very similar goals. We want to be a better spouse, have a better financial foundation, grow in our relationship with Christ. But when we look at that, even though we have very similar goals, we often have vastly different outcomes. So why are some people able to hit their goals while others miss the mark? Let me tell you two stories. The first story happened to me in 2014. I remember the feeling when my name was called. I was at a speaking contest and I could feel it. My throat instantly dried up, knots in my stomach. I got up and I delivered a speech. It definitely wasn't the best. I definitely didn't win. The speech itself, there wasn't anything inherently wrong with it. The delivery was way off. But I went into the contest with an expectation that there was the possibility that I could win. I was going to try my best. And I remember being disappointed. But when I look back on it now, I'm really glad that I didn't win by some fluke or by some accident because I didn't earn it. Ironically, the second story also happened in 2014, but it was when Matthew McConaughey was giving his speech at the Academy Awards, accepting the award for being the best actor. And the speech was good, of course, probably much better than my speech that I gave in that contest, but that's not what really caught my attention. I'd actually never heard of this speech before until I was reading Craig Groeschel's new book called The Power to Change. And in it, he talks about Matthew's acceptance speech from 2014, where Matthew shared the story about how he was approached as a boy at 15 years old, and someone came to him and said, "Hey, Matthew, who's your hero?" And Matthew said, "You know what? I don't know. Give me 2 weeks and I'll think about it and we can talk about it more." So they had a conversation 2 weeks later and Matthew said, "My hero is me in 10 years.
I said, I thought about it. You know who it is? I said, it's me in 10 years.
Now that same person ran into Matthew when he was 25 years old, so 10 years ahead, and said, "Hey, Matthew, are you a hero now?" And Matthew said, "Absolutely not. My hero is now 35 years old."
Not even close. No. She said, why? I said, because my hero is me at 35.
And he went on to say that his hero is consistently 10 years older than where he is in that moment because it gives him something to shoot for. He's never going to arrive. There's always a more better, ideal version of himself that he is striving towards. And we can do this in all the different areas of our life. We can say, hey, who do I want to be as a husband or wife 5 years from now? Who do I want to be as a parent, a father, a mother 5 years, 10 years from now? Who do I want to be as a leader, as a boss, as a coworker 5 or 10 years from now? What do I want my health to look like? How do I want my healthy picture of life to look like 5 or 10 years from now? And that is sort of constantly evolving and changing, but you've always got something to shoot for. And what Craig points out in his book is that if we can focus on who we want to become, the type of person that we want to become, instead of just focusing on what it is that we would like to do or accomplish, then our decision making actually becomes much clearer. And I love this idea of identity-focused goal setting, focusing on who you want to become. But what really struck me is that Craig goes on in his book to talk about a concept called trying versus training. And this is why I took you back to that speech that I gave in 2014, because I tried my best. Gosh darn it. I should have won, right? I showed up. That's part of it, right? I put my best foot forward. The speech itself, the content itself, there's good message there. I just didn't deliver because I didn't train. Or let's think of it this way. Let's say you and I head down to the local gym with a goal of lifting 200 pounds. If we head down there right now, I'm going to fail. Guaranteed. I can try my hardest, but the reality is it's not going to happen. But if you and I were to give each other a little bit more time, train, practice, become the type of person that can lift 200 pounds, then head down to the gym, well, a totally different outcome. And so if you and I think about the person that we'd like to become over the next 5 to 10 years, and we're relying on luck and chance and trying to get us there, then we are going to try and fail every time. But if we train, if we can develop the mindset of training, that's where the magic can happen. Craig says it this way in his book, and I absolutely love this. To try is to attempt to do the right thing by exerting effort in the moment. But to train is to commit to developing strategic habits that equip you to do the right thing in the moment. The speaking contest was a moment, but I didn't have the habits or the consistency in place, the training in place that would allow me to win in that moment. So I tried and I failed. So if today you are tired of trying and failing to hit your goals, I actually want to encourage you to quit trying to hit your goals and start training for them. And training can look different for each of us, but I want to encourage you, as Craig encourages people in his books, don't despise small beginnings. If you want to grow your relationship with Christ and you are small beginning, that training starts with reading one verse a day out of your Bible, then get started. That is enough to get you moving. That is enough to get you in motion. That is going to build that spiritual muscle and foundation in your life, even if it's one verse a day. If you've got a picture of yourself 5 or 10 years from now and you're healthy and you're vibrant, but right now in this moment, because of life and kids and work and everything that's going on, you can only get in a 5 or 10 minute walk a day, then go for it, because that is going to be the habit that is going to develop and grow and become more, so that you can walk into being that healthy and vibrant person that God is calling you to become. Let's train for the future that God is calling you towards, so that when that moment happens, when that moment of opportunity to make an impact happens in your life, and it's already happening, but when it really starts to show up for you, you're ready.